At 3:17 a.m., something connects to your room, not through the door, not through the window, through your devices, and it watches you sleep. For 5 years, people across different countries have reported the same pattern, waking up at 3:17, feeling observed, finding unexplained device activity in their logs. No break-ins, no physical evidence, only data, and all of it leads to one set of coordinates in the North Atlantic. Tonight, we uncover the system that activates at 3:17 a.m., how it may be mapping human dreams, and why awareness of it might already change your behavior. The first documented anomaly appeared in 2021. A cybersecurity analyst noticed that millions of smart devices briefly pinged an unknown server between 3:16 and 3:18 a.m. 2 minutes every night. Globally, the traffic was small, almost invisible. Too small for corporations to flag, too synchronized to be random. When he traced the destination, he found something impossible: an unregistered coordinate in the North Atlantic. No infrastructure, no declared server farm, just open ocean. 3 days after publishing his findings on a private forum, his account was deleted. Then his mirrored backups disappeared. Then he stopped posting entirely. No public explanation was given. Months later, scattered reports began surfacing online. People waking at exactly 3:17 a.m. Heart racing. Room silent, but with the overwhelming feeling of being watched. Most dismissed it as sleep paralysis, until device logs started matching the time. Smart TVs activating briefly. Microphones initializing. Smart thermostats adjusting by 1 degree. Security cameras refreshing without motion. Always between 3:16 and 3:18. Always silent. A university research group analyzing sleep tracker data found something else. Across thousands of anonymous users, REM sleep spikes peaked consistently at 3:17 a.m. local time. That alone is not unusual. What was unusual was this: micro-awakenings increased globally at that exact minute, as if something external briefly interrupted deep sleep cycles. The data was never formally published. Funding was quietly withdrawn. Then came the hard drive, an anonymous package sent to an independent tech journalist. Inside were hundreds of short video files, different bedrooms, different countries, different people, all time-stamped 3:17 a.m. Each subject to sleep, each camera angle elevated, as if filmed from the ceiling corner. But when investigators contacted several individuals shown in the footage, they confirmed something disturbing. There were no cameras in their rooms. Metadata analysis revealed that the footage was not recorded in the traditional sense. It was generated, simulated using live biometric inputs. Heart rate variability, respiratory rhythm, body temperature shifts. The folder was labeled Night Behavior Monitoring Phase 4. Internal leaks from an unnamed contractor later described a multi-phase research initiative. Phase 1. Passive observation. Phase 2. Pattern modeling. Phase 3. Emotional response mapping. Phase 4. Environmental microstimulation. Microstimulation means subtle influence, a faint frequency through speakers, a minor light pulse from a standby LED. Temperature fluctuation barely noticeable. Not enough to wake you, just enough to enter the dream state. If you wanted to study fear without interference, sleep would be the perfect laboratory. Satellite telemetry adds another layer. A retired aerospace technician claimed that certain low-orbit satellites adjust orientation very slightly during the 3:16-3:18 window. The alignment appears to converge over the same North Atlantic coordinate. The margin of adjustment is tiny, undetectable to casual monitoring, but consistent. Attempts to investigate the ocean coordinates physically have failed. 2 private research expeditions reported electronic interference upon arrival in the region. Compasses malfunctioned. GPS signals drifted. Drone footage corrupted. One final transmission from a research vessel stated, "We are detecting structured signal bursts beneath us." Transmission ended abruptly. The crew later attributed the failure to equipment anomalies. No further explanation was released. So what is the purpose? Leaked fragments suggest a behavioral modeling objective. During REM sleep, the human brain processes fear, trauma, and memory consolidation at peak intensity. If a system could observe billions of unfiltered dream states, it could build the most advanced psychological map ever created, not based on what we say, not based on what we post, but based on what we fear when defenses are down. That is infinitely more valuable. Here is the most unsettling part. A hidden firmware routine discovered in several smart home devices was labeled Observer Protocol. Default activation window, 3:17 a.m. When developers attempted to remove it, devices reverted after updates. The function could not be permanently disabled. Manufacturers denied intentional inclusion, blamed third-party modules. No third party was named. Children across multiple countries have reportedly described a similar figure in dreams. Tall, featureless, standing in the corner. When asked what it does, several responded with variations of, "It checks." Checks what? Checks if we notice. Mass hysteria is always a possible explanation. Shared myths spreads fast online, but myths do not generate synchronized global device pings. Myths do not adjust satellite alignment. Myths do not rewrite firmware. Something systematic is occurring. Whether corporate, experimental, or autonomous remains unclear. Now consider this. If a system observes billions of sleeping minds every night, it improves, it learns, it predicts. At some point, observation becomes anticipation, and anticipation becomes influence. You may think you are dreaming freely, but what if subtle patterns are being tested? Repeated symbols, repeated shadows, repeated time triggers, to measure reaction consistency, to refine response models. Tonight, millions will fall asleep unaware at 3:17 a.m. for exactly 2 minutes. A network you cannot see may briefly connect, collect, process, adapt, and disconnect, leaving nothing but a faint sense that something was there. If you choose to test it, set an alarm for 3:16. Wake up. Do not move. Do not check your phone immediately. Listen. Watch the standby lights in your room, because if the system detects wakefulness, it may not activate fully. And if it does not activate, you will never know. This was file 43. If you wake at 3:17 tonight and your room feels slightly different, remember, observation does not require permission.